This is your everyday English class. Hello, welcome to English Cactus. My name is Anna.
And my name is Brian. This podcast will help you practice your English in a fun and natural way, improving your listening skills.
Let's be honest, most people study English for years, but they still feel lost when it's time to have a simple conversation. They know grammar, they know vocabulary, but when it comes to small talk, they freeze.
Exactly. And here's the big truth. Knowing grammar rules doesn't make your English sound natural. What really makes you shine are the phrases that people use every single day.
That's why today's episode is special. If you know these 30 phrases, your English is excellent. They will help you sound confident, natural, and friendly in real conversations.
We will not only show you the phrases, but also explain how to use them, with examples from our own lives, so you can learn in a simple and clear way.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave in the comments where you are from. We love to know our listeners.
Now grab your coffee, relax, and get ready to learn something new. Let's begin.
The first phrase is on the same page. It means we agree or understand something together. For example, are we on the same page about the plan? You can use it with friends, family, or even at work.
Yes, I use it a lot in meetings. If people look confused, I say, let's make sure we are on the same page before we start. It shows everyone needs to study English or learn instructions clearly. The next phrase is, get cold feet. It means to feel nervous right before doing something important, like a test or a date. For example, he wanted to ask her out, but he got cold feet.
I felt the same before my first presentation in English. I had prepared a lot, I wanted to show I could learn and speak well, but just before, I got cold feet. It happens to everyone.
Honestly, break the ice means to make people feel more relaxed in a new situation. For example, the teacher told a joke to break the ice. It's about starting with something simple.
I remember when I joined a new class to study English. I didn't know anyone, but one student asked me about football. That small question broke the ice and made me feel welcome.
Hit the books means to study seriously, not just read quickly. For example, I can't go out tonight. I need to hit the books for my exam.
I use this phrase when I want to motivate myself. I say, okay, Anna, time to hit the books. It reminds me that if I study English every day, I will learn something new.
Piece of cake means something is very easy to do. For example, the homework was a piece of cake. It's a fun way to say easy.
Yes, but be careful. You use it only when something is really simple, like cooking pasta is a piece of cake. But don't say it when the task is difficult, or people will be confused.
The phrase under the weather means you are not feeling well, maybe a little sick. For example, I stayed home because I was under the weather.
I used it last week. I didn't have the flu, but I felt tired and had a headache, so I told my friend, I'm under the weather today. It's softer than saying, I'm sick.
Call it a day means you decide to stop working on something, usually because you're tired. For example, let's call it a day and continue tomorrow.
I use this when I study English late at night. If I can't focus anymore, I say, okay, I'll call it a day. It's better to rest and learn again the next day.
Break a leg is a funny way to wish someone good luck, especially before a performance or presentation.
Yes, when I had my first English test, a friend told me, break a leg. At first I was confused, but then I learned it's positive. It motivates you to do your best.
The ball is in your court means it's your turn to decide or act. For example, I sent the email, now the ball is in your court.
I like this phrase. I used it with my brother when we planned a trip. I said, I chose the hotel, now the ball is in your court to book the tickets. It shows shared responsibility.
Spill the beans means to reveal a secret, sometimes by accident. For example, she spilled the beans about the surprise party.
It happened to me once. I was so excited that I told Anna about her birthday gift too early. She laughed and said, you spilled the beans.
Hit the sack means to go to bed or sleep. For example, I'm really tired. I'll hit the sack early tonight.
I often say this after a long day. Instead of just sleep, it sounds more natural. I need to hit the sack now. I have class tomorrow. Cost an arm and a leg means something is really expensive. For example, that phone cost an arm and a leg.
I once said this about concert tickets. They were so high-priced that I told my friend, the tickets cost an arm and a leg, but it was worth it. Once in a blue moon means something happens very rarely. For example, I eat fast food once in a blue moon.
Yes, I use it for habits too. I watch TV once in a blue moon because I prefer to study English or read books. Hit the nail on the head means to describe something perfectly. For example, you hit the nail on the head with your explanation.
I used it with a student once. She said, English needs daily practice. And I told her, you hit the nail on the head. It was exactly correct.
Let the cat out of the bag means to say something that was supposed to be a secret. For example, he let the cat out of the bag about the surprise trip. I remember telling my cousin about a family surprise too soon. Everyone laughed and said, "You let the cat out of the bag."
Burn the midnight oil means to work or study very late. For example, I had to burn the midnight oil to finish my project.
I've done this many times. Before exams, I stayed up all night to study English. I told my friend, I burned the midnight oil, but I passed the test.
Hit the road means to leave or begin a trip. For example, it's late, let's hit the road. I said this last summer when we traveled early. At 6 a.m., I told my family, time to hit the road if we want to arrive before lunch.
Kill two birds with one stone means solving two problems with one action. For example, I studied English while riding the bus, so I killed two birds with one stone. I love this phrase. I go jogging while listening to podcasts, and I say, I kill two birds with one stone, exercise and learn at the same time.
The early bird catches the worm means people who act early get the advantage. For example, I arrived early for the sale, and I got the best deals. I believe this for study too. I wake up early and read English for 20 minutes. I always feel the early bird catches the worm. Bite the bullet means to accept something hard but necessary. For example, I didn't want to speak in class, but I bit the bullet.
I used this phrase when I had to pay a big bill. I said, I didn't like it, but I had to bite the bullet and pay.
Actions speak louder than words means people believe what you do, not just what you say. For example, he promised to help, but his actions speak louder than words.
I use this phrase when I talk about study habits. You can say, I want to learn, but if you don't study English daily, actions speak louder than words. Burn bridges means to damage a relationship so you can't go back. For example, he left the company angrily and burned his bridges.
I always tell my students, don't burn bridges with teachers or classmates. You never know when you'll need help to learn something new.
By the book means doing something strictly according to rules. For example, the manager runs the office by the book.
Yes, and when I was younger, my teacher said, do the exercise by the book, then try your own example. It's good to start with rules, then practice freely.
A blessing in disguise is something that looks bad but later brings good results. For example, losing that job was a blessing in disguise because I found a better one.
I felt that once too. I failed an English test, but it was a blessing in disguise. It pushed me to study English harder, and now I'm much more confident. In hot water means to be in trouble. For example, he was in hot water with his boss after being late.
I remember being in hot water at school when I forgot my homework. My teacher said, "You're in hot water this time."
The best of both worlds means you can enjoy two good things together. For example, working from home gives me the best of both worlds, comfort and productivity.
I use this phrase when I read a book and study English at the same time. I get the best of both worlds, fun and learning.
Add fuel to the fire means to make a problem even bigger. For example, his comment only added fuel to the fire during the argument.
Yes, I saw this once in class. Two students were arguing, and a joke added fuel to the fire. It got worse instead of better.
Throw in the towel means to quit or give up. For example, after many attempts, he threw in the towel.
I felt like throwing in the towel when I couldn't pronounce some English words, but I kept going. That's why I tell students, never throw in the towel when you study English.
Practice makes perfect means the more you practice, the better you get. For example, play the guitar every day. Practice makes perfect.
And it's true for language too. If you study English daily and practice speaking, you will learn faster. Practice really makes perfect.
We've reached the end of today's lesson, and now you know 30 daily phrases for small talk. Remember, these expressions are simple, but they are powerful. They help you sound natural when you study English and when you speak in real conversations.
Yes, and here's my challenge for you. Choose 3 of these phrases today and use them. Maybe in class, maybe with a friend, or even when you talk to yourself while you learn. Which ones will you practice first?
Think about it. If you really want to grow, you must take action. Which phrase speaks to you the most? Is it practice makes perfect, or maybe on the same page? Write it down, repeat it, and make it part of your daily English.
Remember, practice is the key. Don't throw in the towel, keep going, and you will see progress.
Every phrase you use takes you one step closer to fluency.
So, what about you? Will you stay the same, or will you start using these phrases today? The choice is yours.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notifications so you don't miss the next lessons. Share this episode with a friend who wants to study English too.
Thank you for joining us. Keep practicing, keep improving.
Take care, and see you in the next episode.